This in front is the City Hall, where a lot of excursions go from.
On my left side, the Rock of Gibraltar. The monkeys are there waiting for you. Okay, important to know with the monkeys. They are really smart. Be careful with the monkeys. I always use the same sentence. Gibraltar, it's really tiny. It's pretty safe. There are no pickpockets. There are the monkeys. Used to people, they are used to tourists, and they are used to pictures. It's not allowed to give food to the monkeys.
There's the military base, so British Forces Gibraltar. So that's where I stayed when I was here.
Oh, did you stay here?
We came down on a ship, stayed here for 3 days before we went off.
How was it like being in the army?
Okay, so we've just left Spain. We crossed the runway on foot through a tunnel, and now we're back in Blighty, so to speak. Gibraltar. Everything's back to England. I'm back at home. I'm actually feeling more at home than I thought, because it's all in reference to the artillery. There's batteries, we've got Casemates. So this is the main square in Gibraltar. And we're on an excursion, as you probably guessed, with all the people around us. And we're going on a bus up to the top, because otherwise it was a walk, because the cable car's not working. So you can see where we're heading to, up the top there.
Okay guys, just a bit of the history of Gibraltar. 1704, the British came over to Gibraltar. So they found here the Moors. The Moors were the Moroccans. Tariq ibn Ziyad named Gibraltar as Jabal Tariq. Jabal Tariq means mountain Tariq. When the British came over, they found around 50 to 60 monkeys. Also discovered around 200 caves. One of the biggest caves is the St. Michael's Cave. When the British came over, they had a big conflict with Spain. Spain claimed that Gibraltar belongs to them. That's where the conflict started between the British and the Spanish. So when the conflict started, the British rushed up the rock and built tunnels all around the rock of Gibraltar. And you look up the rock, you see holes surrounding the rock. Those holes lead you into the tunnels. Inside the tunnels, holes, okay, looking out the rock. Why did they build those holes? Cannons inside the tunnels, facing out the holes. When the Spanish warships tried to come over to take over Gibraltar, the British were really good defending their land. So what's happened in 1969, Franco closed the frontier, the border. Why did he close the frontier? So that the British can stay with hunger. If the British stay with hunger, they would leave Gibraltar. Okay, that was the idea. So the British said, we're not going to make it easy for them. We're not going to leave Gibraltar. We're going to use the Moroccans, okay, the Moors, the Moroccans, to send them down in pirate ships from Gibraltar to Africa to bring over fruits and vegetables from Morocco to bring it over to Gibraltar for the British to survive. Okay? Whilst that was happening, the Moroccans were making business. bringing over the Jews and the Moroccans over from Tetuan in Africa over to Gibraltar to have a better future. Opposite is Africa, Morocco, 24 kilometers. On the right, Spain, the port of Algeciras, where the mountain finishes on the right. Behind that mountain, where the mountain finishes, is Tarifa, a famous beach in Spain where people all around the world go to Tarifa to surf. That is the Atlantic Ocean. We're in the Mediterranean Ocean. From Tarifa to Morocco is 14 kilometers. 14 kilometers. Now we're reaching to the Pillars of Hercules. The Pillars of Hercules, 500 million years ago, Hercules was a really strong man, opened two mountains apart. He named the mountain of Morocco Mons Abila and the mountain of Gibraltar Mons Calpe. Why did he open two mountains apart? For the Mediterranean to reach the Atlantic Ocean. Unfortunately, in Gibraltar, you can't see the Mediterranean crashing with the Atlantic. But if you go to Tarifa or to Morocco in Tangiers, you see the Mediterranean Ocean crashing against the Atlantic Ocean.
So here we are on the Rock of Gibraltar. That's it above us. At the moment, we are where Hercules stood when he split the two mountains apart. One at Morocco side and one obviously in Gibraltar. So we're on standing at the moment. You can see three countries. Here we are, we're in the English sovereignty of Gibraltar. To our right, we've got Spain, and to the left, we've got North Africa, as in Morocco, and the Atlas Mountains in front of us. And then looking that way is the Mediterranean, and then going that direction, as far as you can see, and the Mediterranean meets up with the Atlantic Ocean.
Sorry, we have a question.
Yes.
So the first monkeys came from Morocco, right? With the people.
Tariq ibn Ziyad, yes.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yeah. There's two sayings. They say that Tariq ibn Ziyad brought them over with them from when he came from Africa to Gibraltar. Okay, as he had them as pets. And there's another saying that inside the St. Michael's Cave, the lower St. Michael's Cave, okay, there's a tunnel leading to Africa, and they came over from that tunnel. And I don't believe that.
Oh yeah.
Exit is up there. You see the St. Michael's coming? I see the...
Nie, może na górze.
We're definitely at height now. Now, I'm on an excursion trip, and with that, it costs €20 to get to Gibraltar and €50 to be with the nature reserve. So this is St. Michael's Cave.
wild animals that you're not allowed to touch. Okay? Later on, we show you how to feed them and get close. These types of monkeys are located in 2 other places in the world. They're located in the Moroccan Atlas, just on top of Marrakesh, and also in Algeria. The difference from Gibraltar to Africa on the monkeys, they use them as pets, okay? We can't, we have them as wild animals. Okay? Please, if the monkey's at the right, your bag has to be on the left. If the monkey's at the left, your bag has to be on the right. Automatically, they think that you got food in your bag. Okay, you have to be really careful.
Here's the monkeys. And there's a few of them about. Spin it around. There's some there and all. Yeah, it's still there. Long way down. And also, we're walking on glass. He's off.
Okay, you're next.
Все, супер, фотка.
Сделай, пожалуйста, мне тоже. Смотри. Мне тоже.
А, ясно.
So that's Casemates Square in the middle, and that's the Moorish Castle. You can just see there. There's the runway of the airport, which, as you can see, just lands in the sea. See the gun battery there, there's 3 guns I can see there. Okay, so we're leaving the tour, so to speak. We're on our own now. So we're going up to the Great Siege Tunnels. After that, we're going to see the World War II tunnels, then the Moorish Castle, and then we'll head back down the rock, back into the city. It is an interesting one, and obviously the excursion I've been on, okay, it's a little bit expensive. It was €20 to get the journey from Malaga to here and then return. Then from the airport you have to walk across the runway. So they have 2 flights in the winter and 5 in the summer. Now they did say it's one of the worst airports in the world because of the crosswinds between the Mediterranean and Atlantic. And they have 2 attempts to land, and if they can't land on the second attempt due to the winds are that bad, then they have to fly over to Malaga. As we continue on, you can do this tour. So we paid €50 per person, quite expensive. €34 to get into the nature reserve where the rock is, and there's 18 attractions within that. Then on top of that, it was another €16, and that pays for your fare to get these little taxi type things all the way up to the top and all the way back down. He drops you off in certain places, as you've seen. So probably worthwhile to do it that way. but just realised it's quite an expensive day to do this. Anyway, let's go up to the Great Siege Tunnels. Yeah, we're in the Great Siege Tunnels within Gibraltar Rock. As you can see, they've been used over a period of time. So when Britain took over the rock, obviously the Spanish didn't like it. And when they came, the Spanish wanted to take the rock back. So what the Brits did was build these tunnels. 34 miles of tunnels were created within the rock itself, and as you can see, it continues on. So this tunnel is quite narrow and it's not that high. The roof's a bit low. Maybe they should give you out. Lieutenant General Elliot was the governor of Gibraltar during the Great Siege. His aide-de-camp was also in the charge of the excavation of the tunnel. The original idea for this belonged to Sergeant Major Ince. 13 men began working on the 25th of May 1782. And it took them 5 weeks to drive an 8 feet square tunnel 82 feet into the rock. At the end of 6 weeks, a hole to the outside was made. Whether this was for ventilation, for the easy disposal of the excavated rock, or simply an accident is not known for certain. But it was immediately obvious that this would make an excellent place to position a cannon. By the 14th of January 1783, 4 guns were mounted in the tunnel, although the original destination of the notch was not reached until 4 months after the siege ended. So I presume if they do move the cannons, they're only moving them downhill, not up the hill. Hey! You look there! It's me. You look like King Charles. If this is the cell, he's got beer in his hand. The tunnel ceiling's got higher. I can actually walk. It's probably 7 feet, maybe 8 feet tall now. We'll keep going. As you can see, you can't really see on the camera, but we are going downhill. Probably down to the bottom of this way. So you can see the airfield directly below us. You can also see the road in the middle. The further point away from across the airfield is customs. So customs to get into Gibraltar and obviously back into Spain. Large cemetery to our right, low down. You can see the runway that way. It goes right to the end of the sea, and it does exactly the same on the opposite side. If the plane's overrun, well, you're in the sea, and if you come up short, you're in the sea, either way. So the floor obviously flatter, smoothed out, so in case they wanted to move the cannons from one location to another. Hopefully you get a drift at this. It's actually getting quite steep going down now. There's another place for another cannon there, pointing outwards. Here we've got a artillery development during the Great Siege, so changing their explosives. The smaller shell would be able to fire further. And the red hot shot, so heat the shell up, fire it onto the ships below, and obviously they're made of wood to set them alight. So we've got a larger gun carriage here. Oh, we used to have those markers back in the artillery. Put them out on the range as well. So also the gun, when the cannon fired, it would have moved back. So the guy here would push it back into the right place, or position it if they want to turn left or right. So that's the notch. I don't think you can get up to it anymore. Got a whole battery here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 guns. 6 were part of the battery, 1 was a spare. So World War II tunnelling, as it says here. Military tunnelling had a long tradition in Gibraltar, but nothing matches the scale of that undertaken during World War II. By 1943, almost 34 miles of tunnels were completed. The bulk of the work was done by 4 companies of the Royal Engineers, mainly consisting of miners and quarry workers, plus a company of Canadian tunnellers that perfected the technique using diamond drill and blasting with high explosives to the Great Siege Tunnel. During the war, it was extended right through to the other side of the rock. This long straight extension is known as the Holy Land Tunnel. The demands of war meant that speed was the essential ingredient of tunnelling technique as far as World War II miners were concerned. But unfortunately, this also created many stress fractures in the rock. As you can see, it goes on for some distance. Now, sorry about the video. The tour, so with the crowds of people, I've had to work around it a bit. But hopefully you got the gist of it, and you got the highlights to it, and maybe if you haven't been to Gibraltar and thinking about it, then you'll find out it's a worthwhile trip to go on. Okay, so I just walked this long tunnel thinking we're going to link up to the end and go somewhere else. It looks like a barrier, as if it's the end. So walking all the way down, you got to walk all the way back up. So again, if anybody gets to the point after St George's Hall, you can see these signs, and this is as far as we go. Now we can see just a position here. There's a quarry underneath us, so obviously probably a lot of the stone that they dug out went down there. We've got to go back. So what goes down must go up. As in, walked almost 2/3 of the way down the rock via this tunnel, and now we're going to walk 2/3 of the way back up it to get to the exit point. Okay, so we're walking down the mountain now. Left the Great Siege Tunnels, now heading to the World War II tunnels. There's always little things to see as we're going along, like this one here. Another tunnel, or more modern, looks like a World War II tunnel, that one. Eventually, after this, we'll go to the Moorish Castle, and then after that, we'll head into the city. So here's the tunnels we're going to next, World War II. As far as we're here, I've got to grab a helmet. Hard hat collection. Should suit me. It's a bit small, but it'll do the job if it falls on me. There's a Spitfire inside the tunnel. How it got in here, I'm not sure, but it's here. You could probably get a few Spitfires in there, actually. Digging the tunnel, not sure what they're using to do it. It looks like a hose. Right, so as you can see, the roof is a lot higher in here, but I suppose if you can get Spitfires in there, I presume other large materials. Okay, unfortunately, because of the light needed, stabilisation is off. It might be wobbly, but hopefully you get the impression. that Spitfire we saw in that Spitfire hall could probably fitted 4 or 5 of them in, but I'm guessing they probably took the wings off because the doorway didn't look wide enough with the wings on. So a lot of tunnelling done there. Different regiments. Canadians also helped out in digging them. In fact, the Canadians and New Zealanders were very good during World War I tunnelling. I presume that continued into World War II, together with the Royal Engineers. So you can see how Gibraltar was a strategic place to attack the whole of North Africa and probably beyond. So this is all the tunnels within the rock itself. You can see on the left hand side where we are. 45 kilometers of tunnel carved out by 1945. Speed was 54 meters per week. Airport runway expanded by 80% using tunnel debris. A garrison of 17,850 troops by May 1943. This is the way we're going now. You can see further tunnels in different directions. Now I'm hoping this is not like the last one, that walk all the way to the end to go all the way back. There you go, this is one of the places that I've just banged my head. You see the built buildings within the tunnels itself. Obviously referring to you work in this environment, you're going to be telling everybody what you're doing. Get the secrets out and then the enemy know. The real James Bond. Okay, continuing on. So we're going towards a plant room, extended tour. Okay, so this is where they put ammunition on the left hand side down there. Oh my god. How far is that? You can't even see the end. I presume you want me to walk it. Sorry, what's at the other end? Well, let's do it then. I don't know how far that goes up, but I can't see how far. So bunk accommodation. I'm guessing they've fitted quite a few in. Oh, it's actually a medical. So there's a hospital. I'm guessing you've had a bit more space. There's a mess. There's an accommodation. You probably didn't have much at all. Your kit and your bed. And feel thankful that you got that. So again, on the right hand side, this would have been where they would have put casemates, the ammunition. So all the ammo would have been here. Obviously they would have had to put boards on it because we're on a slant. Hopefully this is going to go somewhere and I'm not just having to walk all the way back. And hopefully I'm not going to get lost. I've got now 10 minutes to finish this, get back into the city and meet my excursion group to get back home. So you've got tunnels going off different directions. Now it does say there's 178 different tunnels. And they labelled them so people could understand which part of the tunnels they were in. Yeah, like an escape hatch that way. All different ways to get out of the rock. So I have been told I'm getting towards the end of this, and at the end there's a balcony. Clapham Junction, Thompson's Rays, Admiralty, McFarlane Gallery. Jock's balcony. Used to have a McFarlane in the artillery. Here we go. Oh god. I can hear outside. That's where we are. We're outside. So So it's as far as we go. Right, back that way then. Not sure what that says. Can't really make it out. There is a way though. So I don't know if that's any clearer. I know in the past what you do is if you can't see it that clearly, put water on it. Okay, so we managed to get back to where we were when we said that we were going to walk up there. So swim back this way. This is called Fordham's. What we're going to find this way? Well, I have no clue what's down here. It's pitch darkness. Now, they would have had gates back when we had the tunnels, because obviously segregated different sections. Certain sections would have had ammunition in it, and only certain people would have been allowed to go to that ammunition section. These like Anderson, like wall shelters, maybe it could have been communications part, which they would only have certain people needed to go there. Not every soldier needed to know about the top secret information that was happening. And it's nice in that because I understand it a little bit better, obviously being ex-army, especially artillery. This was built about the tunnels to feed the guns and the battery. So we're heading back out. Okay, it looks like the Moorish Castle is out of bounds at the moment. It looks like they're doing some works there. So we're going to head back down to the centre. You can see to the right there's Casemates, so we're going to head that direction to the centre, and that's our meeting point in about an hour. As you can see, Gibraltar, a spot of land comes at a premium, so that's the reason why there's so many high-rise buildings here, and it's quite an expensive place to stay as well, because obviously being a nature reserve, you can't build within that. Everywhere else is high and tall. I even saw a moment ago a football pitch top floor of a building. But there's also a lot of development here as well. Now there is still, as a British military base here, so last time I came here, 35 years ago actually, as part of the military, there was some high-rise buildings, but it wasn't nothing like there is today. Anyway, we're heading back into the city now. Construction's all around me. If I turn the camera around, you can see the Moorish Castle there. So obviously Moorish meaning in reference to Arab. And then we've got a turret type thing here. Again, the shape at the top gives it a bit of a Moorish look. So these are old Arab walls in front of us. So parts of this wall may date back from 1160, prior to which there are no records of a castle at Gibraltar. Most of Andalusia was under Islam rule between the 7th and the 14th century. So 700 years of occupation until the Christians took over in 1487. You can see directly in front there would have been a doorway there at some point. Dates back to 1789. Moorish Castle Gatehouse. This gatehouse, probably the oldest building in Gibraltar, led originally into the castle by Moorish, Spanish and British troops for over 800 years. I did think I was down at the ground level, but as you can see, you can still quite high up. Oh, there's the building directly in front of us. To see the grass roofed building to the right. It's got a football pitch on the top. As we continue down, we're still seeing more remnants of the old castle, fortress. I seem to be going back up again. Oh, there's a way out here. Go that way. Still going down. It's not doing my knee any good. Maybe it's building up the muscle, but it doesn't know I've hurt. Especially going down steps. That's when I'm struggling the most. Flat, I'm alright with. It's a little like sentry box, Moorish sentry box. I don't think I've ever been to places that's got so many bloody steps. Malaga's the same, the castle was unbelievable. I'll be happy when we're on the flat. And I bet you haven't seen that before. An escalator outside, just down the street, although it's not working. Okay, last flight of steps, and I think we're on the flat. Hooray. That's 1, 2, and we're on the flat. Thankfully. And you walk around the corner and you're back in the city. But funny enough, it's meant to be of English rule, but I haven't heard many people speaking English yet. just Spanish. It's a bit of a tax haven, Gibraltar. So there's 20% off because you don't have to pay any VAT on anything. So we'll go and have a bit of a shop, see what we can get. So in the centre of the picture, you can just about to the left of where the castle is, or you see the flag flying, you can just see a little bit of a wall with a little bit of cream sticking out on the edge. That's where we were at the WWII Tunnels, the experience. So heading further up on the left hand side, where that you can see the flag right at the top. Just below that would have been where the Great Siege Tunnels are. So you can just see between the buildings there, right at the top, you can see another bit of rock face. That's the area we were, where the skywalk was, and the baboons. Well, when in Gibraltar, eat fish and chips. So there's a drawbridge that goes into there. You can see more remnants up there as well. I mean, the runway looks massive. It's a bit of a clearer look now. So we're going to wrap this little adventure up from here. And until next time, I shall speak to you soon. Bye bye, hikers.